I'm Liz Scissors. Today we're going to talk about combs. My goal is to teach you why there's a difference between one comb to the next. Not all combs are created equal. I teach all the time, and I will tell you it is very, very common. It's totally the norm for groomers to have one specific brush they use, one specific comb they use for every type of coat and every job that they do. It's really normal. But there's so much out there. You have such variety, and there's a reason. Every company has designed their tools to do specific jobs. And the reason they offer you a variety is because some are designed to do this job and some are designed to do that job. And if we use that tool to do that job when it's not designed to do it, it might work, but it could be so much better if we use the right tool for the job. So let's talk about combs. Again, I'm not endorsing any specific company or brand. I'm just telling you the differences. So there are large combs, medium combs, small combs. The biggest difference, obviously, in size is what size of dog are you working on? What area of the dog are you working on to determine what would be the appropriate comb length to use on that particular job. That's kind of a given, right? We're not going to use a giant comb on a little tiny toy breed. It's just not smart. It's not a smart tool to use for the job. When it comes to these larger combs, which are used on larger breeds, you're typically going to have these teeth or pins spread farther apart, either all the way on one, the whole thing, or you're going to find teeth that are closer together on part of the comb. Just depends on the comb that you want and what the purpose is you're using it for. When they give you a comb that offers you double options, where it's got coarse and fine or coarse and medium pins, that's talking about how close the pins are together. So why would you want both on one? Because if I want to separate hair easily when I'm going through coat, I'm going to use the wider tool first, and I'm going to go down in layers to get to the finer pins, because it's going to easily go through when I've already gotten the wider pins through it. Same with brushing. You want to do the exact same thing. So we want to make sure that the wide pins are used first, and then we move down to the finer pins. Otherwise, if there's any type of tangle and we try to go through it, or even undercoat, you try to go through with the fine pins, it isn't going to go through very easily. It's going to cause discomfort for the dog, and you're going to be pulling and yanking, and that puts more fatigue on you for sure, as well as obviously the dog's going to fight more. So we really want to make sure that we're using the right tool for the right job. So if you're just separating coat or fluffing coat, say on a doodle or a standard poodle, you just want to lift the coat in a large area quickly, then you're going to use these large, wide, separated coarse pins, and they're going to lift quickly and easily to guide that coat up, but it's not going to get all of the coat because there's so much separation in between the pins. So we want to make sure that you're lifting that up, doing whatever job you're going to do, and then you would come back to finer pins. And that finer pin comb is going to be a finish comb that is going to then grab the rest of that coat, and it's going to pull it up much more securely than a fluffing comb. So there's many, many different purposes for these. So after we've got our large wide pins and we move to our finer pins, we then have our workhorses. These are greyhound style combs in general, and that just means that they are the same type of length and width. They're usually going to have medium to coarse or fine to medium pins, depending on how close you want to get. But the wider the pins are, the more rounded they are, the thicker they are, the stronger they are, and the less they're going to separate the coat in the fine manner. So we really want to make sure you're not using a thick pinned comb to do finish work. It's not designed to do that. You can, it'll work, but it's just not as polished as a finish comb is going to be. And there's many different varieties and sizes and lengths that you can use. This is another example of another greyhound style that is a workhorse, and it's going to have wider, thicker pins that are polished so that they have an anti-stat to them, so it's not building up static in the coat. So you want to make sure that these are used before you use finish combs because they're stronger. If you hit any thickness in the coat or you hit any tangles in the coat, these pins are not going to bend very easily because they're very strong. They're designed to last for years and years and years, and they do. If your pins are bent at all, throw that comb away. You are going to hurt somebody. Go get another one. If you like a tool and you love that comb, buy a bunch of them, because manufacturers change all the time and they're going to change the style. They're going to change what material they use. Who knows? They're always innovating and trying to come up with something new. So make sure you buy several of what you like, or at least make sure you know what it was. Lastly, finish combs. Finish combs are very, very thin pins that are very, very close together. They're very light and they are meant for separating the hair to the maximum to give you more volume and polish and plushness to that coat. So when you are finishing, you use a finish comb. If you haven't gotten this through it first, this could get bent because these are more delicate. So make sure you're using the finish comb at the very, very end after you've gotten your other thick pinned combs through it. I hope that this has given you some insight as to some of the reasons why you would pick a certain comb over another. I am available at lizscissors.com, and I will see you at the next one.